Hey everybody, how's it going? Drew Creel here. Welcome to Shred Sessions. On this episode, we have Nashville's very own Koty Bluhm from Shuttle City Booking and The Human Condition. Koty.
Hello.
Thanks for being here, dude.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Heck yeah, man. So for the last, it's been like a year, you and Pierce have been booking a lot of sick metal shows, a lot of deathcore. I just have had a great experience at your shows, man. I wanted to tell you that first.
I appreciate that.
What spawned you wanting to get back into booking, man?
Okay, so just right off at the top, so Shuttle City Booking, it's play on Rocketown.
Oh, I see.
So
I thought maybe it had a Huntsville connection or something.
Oh well, yeah. That everyone talks about the big rocket right there.
But no one calls Huntsville Shuttle City. Do they?
They're Rocket City actually.
Rocket City, so It's not even the same thing. Okay,
Yes.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it's based off Rocketown, because I, grew up going to shows there, eventually worked there, and right up until 2020, the pandemic, I ended up just managing shows, being the person to book shows there, and the pandemic hit, ended it.
Yeah.
And then from there, just had to build back up to where just see where the music scene was going to fall. And then from there, just find where I could be in that again.
Mm-hmm.
It took like 5 years.
Yeah.
But eventually I got with Pierce. We started living together. And one day we decided to start. That's really what it was. There's not like a one moment of okay, we can do this now. It was just finding the motivation to just do it.
Yeah.
And here we are almost a year later. It's going really well.
Dude, your shows have been great, man. I can tell you care about how the show is moving. You're checking in with the bands. I went to the Shuttle Mania, and I could tell you were in the trenches back there in the stage, helping guys move their shit off stage, and I just thought that was cool, man.
You do set times for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But no, shows are interactive. It's not okay, 7 o'clock starts and I'm doing nothing till 11 o'clock. It's you have to make sure we hit 11 o'clock or people are going to be real upset. There's so much stuff to make a show go smoothly and make sure everyone has a good time. That's what it's about.
Heck yeah, man. Now, does Rocketown do shows anymore? Do they book metal bands, or have they kind of been we're not doing that anymore?
So that was always a point of contention when I was working there from 2017 to 2020. There was a lot of pushback on the types of bands I could book because obviously they're very religious, political orientated, and all that. So now outside of that box, I guess I can do what I wanted to do there.
Mm-hmm.
But on my own terms. So I don't know. I don't think they're doing shows anymore at all.
What are they doing?
They had
just church services or something.
They had the youth outreach program.
Okay.
And that's where all the donor money, it all went towards that.
Yeah.
And then the skate park was the next biggest thing.
Yeah.
After the youth outreach stuff.
Gotcha. Was the skate park still popping off?
Yeah, they still have the skate park now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sixth Avenue. It's going to be a staple in Nashville. If they do away with the skate park, that is going to be the death knell for that place. I mean, it's already out of the zeitgeist anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, they even changed the logo, the color scheme. The coffee bar is rented out by someone else. But outside of that, I'm very disconnected because it didn't end the best.
I don't think anybody that's worked there it ended good, dude.
No.
I used to live with Wes Breedwell and RC Noel.
Well, yeah, they have way more stories than I do.
So I was around for that whole saga where Wes wore some kind of T-shirt from. It was I guess it was like a gay advocacy shirt or something like that. Very, very much just trying to
and it was pretty tame too. It wasn't
What did that shirt say? Do you remember?
I can see the picture in my head.
Me too.
But I don't remember the exact words that it said. But it wouldn't have been something for them to even have a problem with.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have even noticed. But they made it.
Somebody, yeah. I mean, because I remember that their manager was I can't remember her name, brown-haired lady.
Mary Virginia, MV.
Yeah, dude.
The sweetest lady in the world. She's the best.
She was great with those people that worked for her, you know, and everyone liked working for her. But it must have been like someone on the board or something just happened to be there that day and saw that. That's a guy that works here.
Yeah, there was a certain person on the board that came in and really changed everything. That's when the microscope started. And I guess donor money was starting to be threatened with some of the shows that they were booking. And once, you know, you start threatening to pull funding, like,
yeah,
they're going to fold. And they folded hard.
Someone that has when someone has the power to make a change like that and they see something they don't like, it's ultimately up to that person.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how things should work, but that's how they oftentimes do work when you're talking about organizations, especially religious ones like Rocketown. So
absolutely. And just when money is passing through and the goals aren't aligned, like it took one person to kill a whole culture, to take a whole center for people to come and just gut it.
Yeah, I wish
not even recognize it.
I wish they could have like had a meeting with that person and just had a whole panel of people just express the impact of that place. And I'd love to.
We did try. We definitely tried, and like there's nothing that he saw that we could show him that would change his mind, because what he wanted to do was so radically different from what we wanted to do.
Yeah,
he wanted to just take it in a youth outreach, trying to get them into like sports thing instead of
great. What does that have to do with like a facility that has 3 music venues in it and a recording studio
and all this? Yeah,
beautiful offices. You're blowing my mind.
Yeah,
like for anybody that doesn't know what Rocketown is and doesn't know about the Nashville hardcore scene, somebody in another city that might be watching this right now, explain what Rocketown was and just give us like a history lesson on Rocketown. As succinctly as you can, but give as much detail as you want to.
Absolutely. Because I mean, it is very pivotal for me, as it is a lot of people in the community, from like probably the years 2006 up until about, I'd say 2014 is when things started to get a little hairy.
That was when like Wes, Sasha, and RC like all left.
Yeah, Wes. Yeah. Once Wes got out of there, that and the big scandal happened. But before then, Rocketown really was a center for any kind of disenfranchised youth, a fan of any genre of music, just anything that was not like a mainstream culture. You could come to Rocketown and find yourself not only having people around, but like adults that would like feed your, I don't know, your soul with it.
Yeah.
And like get you like excited, a path going that's outside of school, outside of your parents. It's like a nice third place to go to.
Yeah.
And it was safe. They didn't have alcohol. They had security.
Right.
They had all the good things. It was just it ultimately being a youth center that had religious ties to it. You're always going to have some opposition there. But for those years, because it was always there, was like part of the goal, because it was started by Michael W. Smith.
So what was his like original vision for that place? Did he want to get kids into music? What was it initially?
It's funny you say vision, because he heard Rocketown, the name, in a dream.
Oh, okay.
And he just woke up and was like, I got to start Rocketown.
Wow. He's got the money to do it.
That's a simplified thing, but it's like it was meant to start as a place for kids to go to.
Yeah. Let's be honest. That guy wrote some bangers, dude.
Christian
bangers, man.
He's still around to this day, still doing it.
Incredible songwriting, dude. Friends are friends forever. Come on, dog. That song slaps, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I respect the man. Like, without him doing what he did, I'm not here today. I'm not sitting in this chair talking about anything, you know? So he started that venue. I'm going to get the date wrong. I think it was in 2004. And then for them to build, it was way earlier than 2004. I sound crazy. But from there, they eventually got to that building that was on 6th Avenue. And that's where the skate park got its name from. I mean, they called it 6th Ave then just because it was on 6th Ave, but they kept the name because they had to move when the convention center got built.
Now it's it's like $1 billion hotel is probably there right now.
Yeah. They don't know what happened in that spot. It's crazy.
It's hallowed ground, bro.
But then, so even for that year when they had to like tear down Rocketown and find the new building and make that transition, like losing it then should have showed people like what we had and what we should have preserved or what we could have done.
Yeah.
Because one of my old bands, we played the last show at the old building. We played the first show at the new building. Like that.
Sick.
Like, yes, like that place is like ingrained in me. So like just for other people that also had positive experiences there. A lot of people got kicked out for breaking the rules. Whenever someone hears a venue has like a bunch of rules, they're just like, I want to break those rules.
Yeah.
I do not respect that. So it's like, what are we going to do? You can't just constantly live a life of chaos and get venues shut down and not play ball. But besides the point, it's just they were hitting their stride, and then the new director came in, and that's where things changed. I think it was actually a Whitechapel video shoot for Breeding Violence that was filmed at Rocketown.
So let me ask you this, man. Like, do you think Michael W. Smith or really anybody that helped found Rocketown could have ever imagined it being like the centerpiece of the Nashville metal scene for like a little over a decade?
No, absolutely not. And I think that's
but somebody was like, oh, these shows are well attended. There's a lot of kids here. Like, this is sick. Let's keep it going, right? Do you think that's what it was? Or it was like, I don't know about all this music, but this is what the kids are into. Like,
Rocketown was like known across the country. Like bands liked coming there until really the move was part of it. But yeah, bands loved coming there. They would talk about it in AP magazine and all that stuff. Like,
wow.
People knew it. And there was a Rocketown in Florida, actually. They tried to like just have multiple Rocketowns in the country, and
because it was booming, right?
Yeah,
everybody in Nashville was coming out to these shows.
And I wasn't involved in any of the inner working then. I didn't work there. I was still in high school, or just out of high school at that point. But as Hell Retreats, I played the Rocketown, Florida with them. It was sick. It was a great place. But that eventually shut down, and then I don't know if that was when they were like, we're not going to do the venue specific thing anymore. So I'd like to know, but they had something.
Yeah. Now, when you talk about like rules being broken, you're referring to like, it's my understanding that Rocketown would have bands that weren't Christian bands sign some type of waiver that said like, I'm not going to say these lists of slang terms from into a microphone on stage. Is that kind of what that was?
There was nothing you had to sign.
Okay.
There would be a conversation had with the bands at like higher attended shows, and it was more early on. They were like real big about it. There used to be kind of like a go-between. We'd have the talent buyer, then there was a woman named Melanie. She worked at Rocketown, but everyone just knew her as basically the face of Rocketown. And she would be the ones that would like talk to the band, say like, no cursing from stage, blah, blah, blah. But like in a way that wasn't like a buzzkill. Unless you're Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars and you hear that and you want to.
He played Rocketown and did whatever he wanted because he's Jared Leto. Dude, you're talking about one of the biggest egomaniacs that's ever existed. Jared Leto.
You tell him not to curse for 30 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. It did not go well. So, yeah, that's like one of those horror stories. But there's nothing to sign, but we did ask.
Yeah, that's interesting. And there's two ways to look at that. One way is like Rocketown is making money with this band, right? It's a mutual agreement that so this band is doing what they do, which a lot of heavy music has swearing in it.
Yes.
So now you're asking the band you're asking the band to like come and play and for you to make money off of them, and then them to not really be who they really are in their songs, right?
Because
it's a weird kind of dichotomy from I'm just sharing like the band members' perspective, because I remember touring and playing other Christian venues, like my old band Skies. We played, I don't remember the name of the place, but it was in Missouri, and they had every band had to sign, every member of every band had like, there were 4 or 5 lines on there, and everyone had to sign.
Joplin, Missouri, was it not?
It was a really nice venue. The Christian venues are usually like sick because
we
have
might have
money.
played there with War of Ages, is why I'm asking.
Yeah,
they fed us and everything. It might have been the same place.
It was a great thing, but there was a couple bands that were like really not excited about that. They took that, and at the time I was like, come on, man, can't you just not swear once? I was like very much like, just do what they say, follow the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
because every time you tell someone that, then with their stage banner between songs, you can tell.
Yeah.
And like if they slip up, they'll be like, "Oh, sorry," or they'll make a joke about it, or they'll just straight up be like, "They told us not to do that, but we're going to do it anyways. What are they going to do?" kind of thing.
Right.
And that's the mindset where it's like incendiary is where I kind of like draw the line at. But I do agree that it makes it a little inauthentic when you have to police yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, you've made a name for yourself in music. You've toured all over the place. Now you're going to go to this one venue and you're not going to say this list of words in a song. You know what I mean? Or like, it's just, I don't think people realize how weird that is.
No,
like
it's
people think about it as just like, oh, well, it's just one word. Well, it's like, we've been working on these songs for years and we've been playing them a certain way for a long time. We've given our lives to this, and now we're not gonna, because we might offend someone potentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, what are we doing this for anyways?
Yeah.
Like, if we were worried about offending people, we probably wouldn't be on bands. We wouldn't have been teenagers picking up music or guitar or whatever instrument.
Yeah,
and being really loud about it.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think from the venue's perspective, it's like, we've got all these local kids coming to the show. We got to make sure that they're not being exposed to something that maybe their parents would take issue with, or
and that,
especially because they say they're a Christian venue, right?
Exactly, and they just have to follow what they're preaching. Which, I mean, I get it, having been working there and being the person to kind of keep that decorum going.
Yeah,
but also in like scaling it back. By the end, like, we were not really policing that at all. Besides, we had a booking committee of 3 people. If 2 said yes, we booked the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was MV and 2 directors. The 2 directors would always say no on everything because they were, so it's like the deck was kind of stacked. But there's one you could kind of like convince them, but you would have to send like the cleanest song with the music video that has like no like anything weird. We had the band Second Death with my band Human Condition played Rocketown, and he looked up the wrong Second Death. He looked up a Black Tongue song called Second Death instead of the band Second Death, and he's like, "Oh, this has like pentagrams. It's like really satanic." Like, brother, what are you talking
Wrong
about?
band,
They
dude.
are a Christian band, Second Death. And I was like, so I showed him the actual video, and he's like, "There's a gun in it." It's like, it's a message. It's a metaphor. Like, we're trying to do something.
Oh, dude, you could interpret anything in the most, in some way that makes you make a decision not to go in on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's silly at that point. So what were some of the other like epic things that happened at Rocketown that maybe moved Rocketown away from booking shows and doing metal shows and stuff like that?
The Underoath Riot.
Okay.
I forget
what was that.
I forget the year, but it was a very run-of-the-mill Underoath show, or it should have been. I don't know what it is, but I think Spencer had got the rundown before the show. And Underoath was in there like what do I want to call it?
We're not a Christian band anymore.
Yeah, they were in that era. They're pushing back against it. And at the end of this show, they're like, everyone get on stage. Security can't stop you.
Great idea.
Yeah. And I think it was all sparked because they thought they saw someone getting kicked out for something. And Spencer just like went crazy and told everyone to get on stage. And like we were seeing like videos on social media of like taking selfies on the stage of Rocketown with them. So it's all verifiable. But yeah, and that was another moment of like, they saw like, it really is like us and them, and they didn't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, that's wild. And you also mentioned the breeding violence Whitechapel video shoot.
Yes.
What happened at that? I'm not familiar with that story.
So Whitechapel, they filmed breeding violence at Rocketown, them being like a Tennessee band. They played Rocketown a lot of times early on in their career. So they thought it'd be a good idea to, I don't want to say like give back, but just like to do the video at a big Nashville venue. So a lot of people were there, and that was a night that the board decides to show up because it's like, oh, it's a big event. We'll see what's going on.
Oh my God.
And they saw a Whitechapel show.
So they played a whole show, but they were getting video footage of like
they played breeding violence
song
twice.
Yeah.
And they played it again at the end of the set. So, but they played a whole show, and there was like 2 local openers. And yeah, they were not happy that was basically.
What do you think they took issue with? Like, were you at that show?
Yeah. I think it was.
Was something Phil said?
Them being metal, and then they really looked into
brutal
it.
AF. Yeah.
Right. I'm sure they may have heard some cursing from stage. Mm-hmm. They went and looked at logos, the merch, and just
saw it and were just like appalled or something, or like, wow, this is really like, I don't want any kids to come here and see this kind of thing.
Right.
But guess what? They're going to find it anyway. They're going to go out and find it.
Yeah, and I'd rather them be there that night at our really nice venue, being safe and having a good time, instead of wherever else they could be in that moment.
Right.
You are providing that for them.
There's no alcohol or drugs allowed at Rocketown, so like that, it really could be the most ideal, safe place to see this music, and it was for a long time. That's what's crazy about it, dude.
Yeah,
I still thought it was cool that I got to play on the big stage, man. That like I have a memory of walking up those steps to get on stage and play with As Hell Retreats.
That last show,
that last show. That was crazy, dude. And it was such an honor to play in that band, man. Like, and you also played in As Hell Retreats. When were you in the band?
It was right after Blake Hardman left. Right as.
Did Blake go to join Gideon at that point?
No, he joined a Mississippi band first before Gideon.
What was that band called?
I wish I could tell you. The Advocate.
Okay.
The Advocate.
I think that sounds. Yeah, I remember him talking about that.
And then from the Advocate, then he joined Gideon while we were actually touring together. So it's like he got to watch me play his riffs every night and play them very badly and very wrong.
Did he lay into you a little bit, or was he?
No,
but that's wrong, man. He talks kind of like that.
There was one night in Lubbock, Texas. We played a skating rink, and it was just run of the mill show. And like after our set, we're talking, and he's like, "Hey, show me how you play this one riff from this one song." And I was like, "Here it goes, here it goes." And I was like, I was showing him. I was like, "That's not what I did." And I was like, "That's what Tyler taught me." Because like I stayed at his house for like a week.
That's kind of what I did.
We tabbed the songs out actually, so I could practice them, not with everybody.
Yeah.
So I could just be self-sufficient. But when we were like tabbing things out and he's teaching me, like there was some riffs where it was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, this part's a mystery. Dude, the stuff on the riffs on that first Face Down release,
Revival,
that like some of those riffs are freaking insane hard to play.
Oh yeah,
like Raise Hell, and stuff like that.
That's the one.
Oh my gosh, there's that fast part in that. I vaguely remember how to do that.
That's the song that I knew before they asked me, because I loved that band in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in my old band we played a show with Asshole Treats in Clarksville at a venue called The Era. And I watched Tyler teach the beginning of Raise to somebody, and I was just like sitting there, oh, so that's how you do it. So I went home and like learned it and started playing the song. Then like whatever years later, they needed a merch person for a tour, and I just happened to be right place, right time, talked to Jackson, and he asked if I was able to do merch for them for a tour, but they were looking for a guitar player. So they were going to do one guitar player for that tour, but I was going to do merch and just see if I vibed.
Was that Scream the Prayer that they did that?
It's a couple tours before then.
Because I remember seeing them with it was just Tyler, basically everybody except Blake was on the tour.
4-piece with the laptop.
With Taylor, the other Taylor, Taylor on bass.
Yeah. I love him.
Yeah, me too, man.
Well, all of them. Like, there's no bad blood there.
Used to hang out with those guys a lot, man. When Nashville was like on its way up, dude. Like, we used to go to like this club called My. Did you ever go to My? Dude?
No, I did not. I have no idea.
It's kind of by the Gulch, but that was a crazy. Like, I remember going there with Tyler and Emily and a bunch of other friends. We'd all ride down. Yeah, Harvs, man. Yeah, those were the days.
I miss them.
Shout out to you guys. That was a great time. Caitlin and a bunch, just a bunch of friends. We would get in a car from Hendersonville, drive down to what's the bar in 5 Points? Used to be called Slow
Three
Bar.
Crow.
Then we go to Three Crow, dude. That was the spot.
Yeah,
man.
Because I think Taylor and Emily, they lived not far from
there.
there.
And they were all like 21, and I was like 23 or 24 at the time. Like, or I might even been a couple years older than that, because I think I'm like 4 or 5 years older than Tyler. But yeah, they had just gotten their IDs, so they wanted to go downtown Nashville.
Because I'm Tyler's age. Yeah, 'cause I remember when I turned 21, I was already out of the band.
Yeah.
Because it was very brief. It was only like a year. I did 2 tours, then right up until Scream the Prayer, and like I wasn't ready. I started when I was 19, and then I turned 20 while I was with them, and it's just I went from playing local shows, really like being an in-hell vocalist in a band, then playing like metalcore, going straight into touring. And I took to it well enough to be in it for a year.
Yeah.
But when it came time to do like real tours, like Scream the Prayer, I get it.
It can be brutal, man.
I wasn't ready for that.
It can be super fun, but I do remember having just one freak out, and it was because I couldn't back the trailer up. It kept going it would go this way, that way, and everyone was asleep, and I was working on it for like, dude, probably 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was like at the tail end of the tour, and like everyone was in the van, and like everyone was asleep, and it was like I just felt like abandoned almost.
Right.
And I just I screamed basically in the van, and everyone wakes up to me screaming, having a fucking meltdown.
Yeah.
So like those kinds of things can happen. And by the way, I'm sorry that I did that, guys. If you're watching,
I had a freak out one time.
Everyone had it's probably like your mental health is on the edge when you're out on the road.
100%.
It can get really bad. So what a lot of people do is they do drugs and alcohol, when they're out on the road. So
it makes that road way shorter. It makes it seem good for the moment.
It'll help you get through. But that's I think a lot of people have a misconception, like, why are so many musicians into drugs and alcohol? It's like, well, dude, have you ever lived in a van for 30 days?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like, have you ever been a homeless person for 30 days? Like, it's not good for your brain, dude.
Yeah, the longest tour I was out with them was 42 days straight.
Dude.
We happened to have
they did serious touring, dude.
We had a Nashville date in between, so we got lucky enough to sleep in our beds once in 42 days.
Yeah.
And that was the day that I had a freak out. Like, we got home, we were gonna like disperse before we had to play that night. I was gonna go home, sleep in my bed. Then like Jackson comes back out as I'm about to pull out and like opens the door and is like, hey, you could actually stay here. Never mind. Because some stuff was happening. I just was like, bro, I'm already in the car. I'm going home, blah, blah, blah. And I just started popping off. And he like kind of slams the door and I drive off and I'm like, damn, did I just do something wrong there? So it's like, it's like little stuff, little like freakouts like that happen where it's like you've been with each other for almost a month straight. Who knows? Like,
if you have the opportunity to get away, you probably should take it. I think you're probably trying to do the right thing, just to clear your head.
Let me go
a few hours, you know. Well, dude, how did you get into guitar? Were you saying just a minute ago that you started playing at age 19?
No, I started playing with them at 19.
Oh, okay.
I started playing guitar. Probably 2004, 2005. Whenever Avenged Sevenfold put out City of Evil, the year before that.
Iconic record, man.
That's the only barometer I have for when I started.
Wow. Yeah, 2000. Well, I think I started playing guitar in 2001, but 2003 was like a pivotal year with like guitar magazines. You know, Steve Vai, the G3 tour. I went to that in 03. Saw Malmsteen. Like, so there was all of these things. Like, and then I got into heavier music. All in the same year. I got like a first half stack that year. So everything started popping off on guitar for me. Like 03 was like the year. But
absolutely.
How did you get into heavy music, man? Like, and did you start off wanting to play country or like other styles?
Oh, no. I liked like heavier music from almost day one because my dad was he was a roadie for bands.
Oh, wow.
There was an old metal blade band called Intruder, and he was a roadie for them. He would just tour with them, do whatever. So from I always knew what like thrash and metal was. So I took to that really quick. There were like I got into like rap and stuff in school just because you're exposed to it. But like metal was always very central to me and my family. So once I started playing guitar, it was just like just having a guitar in the house because it was something my dad had in the closet. And one day I just started tapping on it, and I was like, "Oh, I understand how this works." And I just started playing it. But it went from I started getting into music, listening to rap in school, and then Linkin Park was the band. Like it had the heavy and it had that, and my dad gave me that CD, and it changed everything.
I really hate that. I hate when people's lives are used as a sales pitch, basically for a program or to raise more money. Like they call it a poster child, right? That's the term I think for it. And when I was in college, man, I was being heavily recruited by Campus Crusade for Christ, and I played on the worship band, you know, in college because I had played worship music since 7th grade. Every Wednesday and Sunday, all the way through high school and then into college. So it was only natural for me to be like, yeah, I'll play in the worship team. I'll slam on some delay pedals and, you know.
I went to Christian high school.
I just love playing music, you know. Like I love rocking out with a great drummer. But there was this guy who was a guest speaker one night, and he was a fraternity guy. So he was real passionate about his fraternity experience, and he had been saved as a Christian going to like from one of his fraternity brothers. So what he was doing was he was starting his fraternity that had been removed from campus like a decade ago. He was bringing it back and was recruiting more young men he was looking for a couple Christian guys. Yes. So I got recruited, and I ended up joining a fraternity, which at that point in my life, I wouldn't have had any reason to want to be involved in that. In fact, going into college, I was like, that's not something I would be interested in doing.
Right.
But because it was this Christian thing, this guy, he kind of convinced me that this was like this is a huge ministry opportunity, Drew. Like you really you could really impact some guys' lives. you know. And so I took that bait, you know, and then I joined. And I had some good experiences. We had some crazy rager parties that would blow anyone's mind.
I'm sure.
But I also went sober in the middle of college for 2 years too. So that was like a whole thing. But
I mean, you can find good people in there.
yeah, and it was a cool experience, but I look back on that time as like lost years of playing, like not playing guitar, you know, and not I would find underground metal shows. This was in DeKalb, Illinois. So I would find like I would walk into like a house show and be a fucking slam band playing down there. Like it just, there was some wild in Chicago had a crazy music scene, man. At least DeKalb did too. Fall of Troy was a big part of that.
Yeah.
Bands like that. Full of Hell back in the day too. I saw like one of their early performances.
No way.
They destroyed all their equipment, and the singer at the time cut himself with a razor blade and stuff. Like it was unbelievable. I had never seen anything like that in my life.
There was another Chicago band called Thieves, where the vocalist would like destroy his head with the mic every night. So they definitely probably played together a lot.
It was terrifying. But all that to say, man, I don't like the poster child thing. I don't like kids being convinced of something because kids are like really impressionable. And I was a college kid at the time, and I just wanted an older man to give me like respect and to be like I wanted this guy to like, I looked up to this guy like a father figure or something. I wanted to make this guy happy, but this guy didn't give a fuck about me. He just wanted to restart his frat so he could have like a third income stream in his life. Like to him, that's probably what it was. But he was in sales and he had the talk, you know. So to say that it was all bad is kind of a weird thing. But I look back at that part of my life with a little bit of regret. And I know you're not supposed to talk about your regrets, but it was like one of those things, man. Like where I was like, why did I do that? Like,
yeah, I mean that it's the impressionable thing. It's the wanting to be a part of something, and that's where like you can find some positivity from being held captive or being used in a situation. If it's like a lot of people are being used, and you can find community, like you may not be assembled for the right reasons, and like ultimately that usually gets exposed.
Yeah.
But like what you can individually take from that, one, what you make of it, but two, it's not all bad.
Yeah, there's still some good that came from it. Yeah. Sorry to talk so much about my story, but you were talking about Hybrid Theory, man, like Linkin Park, like that record. What did that record do to you, like when you first heard it?
You know what? I really wish I could nail exactly what it was. I think it was probably Chester's vocals, because I mean the songs are great and it's real heavy. It's very unique, but his vocals were next level.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like still probably one of the greatest of all time.
No doubt, man.
But yeah, it's just like was a special band. Like I don't know. It's even like seeing what they're doing now really puts into perspective what they had then as well.
Yeah.
Of like it was, I don't know.
Are you digging the new Linkin Park stuff?
No,
no.
Dude. I gave it a shot for the first song, but it was like I already didn't like the later Linkin Park stuff with Chester. So any kind of continuation of that was not going to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I don't like the choice. I mean, as a human being, I respect you. Very talented. Just not what I would have wanted.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
For your favorite band.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, man. What was going on with his like mental health? Like why, like, did they ever find out why he decided to take himself out? Like,
well, no. It's kind of one of those things of like a Chris Cornell situation of you don't see it coming, or like a Robin Williams, you don't see it coming kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, because I remember where I was that day, and like I don't know, there was never going to be any kind of sign, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, when is there a sign, you know? So it's, I don't know. It's one of those things where having outlets in metal is a good thing,
Yeah.
For sure, to be able to like make sure things like that don't happen, because signs are never going to be there. And we can assume that, I don't know, any kind of success or looks like, oh, they're touring, doing cool things. You never know what they're actually thinking about.
Yeah, that's
when
a
that
good
van door
take.
closes. So
It might be miserable, you know? Do you think that huge artists like that sell their souls for fame? Like Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift or any kind of like Chester, you know, did he have to like humiliate himself to other celebrities to achieve his status? Like, have you looked into anything like that? I'm going off on left field here, but it's just for fun. So.
I know about all that, and I wouldn't say so. If anything, they were very opposite of that, and what they did kind of bucked those trends anyway.
I think so, yeah. I think so too.
But I think there's a lot of figuratively you do have to do that. Maybe not so much literally, but like, because like Beyonce and Lady Gaga, anyone, like people think like, oh, any talented singer could do that. But you look at their schedule, you look at what they do every single day, what they're expected to do, the standards they're expected to maintain. You cannot do that.
Yeah,
that's 90% of people cannot do that.
Yeah. Have you seen the video of Lady Gaga on stage dancing around going crazy? She walks over to like the side of the stage, vomits, and then goes right back to like nothing ever happened. Just like freaking projectile vomits, like maybe she had some medication or some bad food or something. It goes right back to dancing.
Yeah, because like who knows what country it was in, or like what city, like what the situation is.
Who knows what made her sick? It could just she drank too much. Who knows?
Right, but it's like you have to keep it going, and a lot of people could like cancel if they're feeling bad before a show. They're like, I can't, I could not do this. Whereas like other people will go up there and literally almost pass away on the stage for their art. Not saying that's mandatory, not condoning like putting your like safety at risk, but there's some people that are not going to say no ever. And you got to be one of those people for that.
You get to a certain level and you've got a crew of, 150 people, or if you cancel a show,
livelihoods are affected.
Like the machine is losing its money. Like that like some of the shows at that I've seen Beyonce and Casey Musgraves. Those are like really probably the two bigger artists. Billy Strings, I saw him too.
Oh hell yeah!
Some of the bigger artists that I've never seen like Taylor Swift. I don't really have a desire. I would see mediocre singing, but but the show I think is sick. Sorry, dude.
I like Taylor Swift. I like a lot of pop music actually.
Sick, man.
But I would go and like to see the show for sure. But like knowing the amount of production, just from top to bottom, like you have to work on that stuff like almost 2 years out, and then like you get to the day and it's like it works.
What was crazy about the Beyonce show is like the drum cam. There was like a camera on the drummer. And the show had just started. Every drum head was brand new. Brand new drum heads every show.
Yeah, now
that dude, that's how it is crazy. At that level. There was not one dot or strike on that kit.
Well,
and I could tell because it was like a close up like fisheye angle of the drummer, and I was like, dang, like those are brand new heads.
Oh yeah, and like not even being the performer, like being the crew for those kinds of shows. And it's like I couldn't do it. I don't have it. Like I couldn't be a tech by nature, but just like what they actually do to day, like the Metallica guitar techs. So for that round stage, they're like constantly working and doing, and they have to like listen and watch. It's just so much work.
Yeah,
and you have to have your head on a swivel and be able to do that. And that's why a lot of people don't take that next step.
You're right. It's you got to give it everything, dude. It requires a lot of a person to play at that level, man.
Yeah, you're not just getting up there, plugging in and playing, and there's 50,000 people there.
It's a show, and like if you don't move around enough, it'll be in an article the next day. Like people will write about it.
Yeah, they'll write your obituary if you mess up a song enough.
So, dude, you were into like Linkin Park, and did you learn a lot of those songs? Like, I just want to know the progression of how you got into playing
Okay.
super heavy 7-string down-tuned like Human Condition riffs.
So it from Linkin Park, it honestly went almost straight to that, to like Suicide Silence.
Like their first record.
Yeah, The Cleansing. So I was getting into high school. And like the internet was becoming big, and YouTube had just started 2006.
Yeah, dude.
So when YouTube became a thing, that's when I like started discovering music videos.
Wow.
Because before then, I had to literally look up on, like, we had Comcast at home. So I would go on there and look up the on-demand music videos and go to the metal section.
That shit sucked.
Yeah. So whatever they had on the metal section for videos is all that I had for a while.
Yeah, MTV, like MTV2 at night, like they would play like Headbangers Ball.
Yeah, I saw Avenged Sevenfold eating cereal in the morning, just from watching music videos before going to school. And like that's how I found my music until, the internet and YouTube. And then I found like Suicide Silence, Behemoth, all these crazy bands. Yeah,
in high school you found Behemoth.
Yeah, I was listening to
dude.
Behemoth. Like, when the Apostasy came out. Yes. So Behemoth. If I could play in a band that sounded like any band, it'd be Behemoth.
That's some god tier. That's funny that I said that, but that's some top tier metal. That's some Satan tier shit.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
The blast, it's just so good. I want to be in a blast beat band so bad, just to like know what they feel every night.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like they just have a really high production value. The records sound great. I'm trying to remember the one that I really latched. Evangelion.
Evangelion.
That record was incredible.
I was with I think I was with Trent the day I bought that.
Trent Davenport.
Yeah.
What's up, Trent? Shout out.
I got that the day with a Kesha record also.
He likes Kesha, man.
Yeah, we bonded over that.
Trent loved Kesha, man.
That's what brought us together. But yeah, so I got that. I remember buying Evangelion, and it's like a fire in the void.
Oh, dude. The toms on that record are just, dude, I don't think you can get a better tom or even a drum sound. Have you checked out any of the new Behemoth stuff?
Yeah, no, I like all of it. I don't think Behemoth ever fell off. I don't think any of it's bad. It's all great.
Yeah, man. Have you been paying attention to like the what the Christians are doing in the comment section of the Behemoth videos?
Honestly, no, I have no idea.
They're basically like, because Behemoth's videos and music are so like anti-God. Yeah. They're going in and spamming it basically and typing in like Christ is King on all the videos. And like, I think there's a certain level of like, okay, we've seen Behemoth do the satanic thing so much, like we get it, that I think a lot of people are just like, I'm tired of seeing this, and there has been a cultural shift on YouTube too. To more like, there's like a huge Orthodox Christian movement right now. That's really fascinating. But they are spamming the Behemoth videos like with Christ is King.
I honestly kind of love it because it gives them fuel to keep going and fight against that.
Yeah, I guess so. Nerdball's like, what is this?
Yeah,
what is this garbage?
If you're gonna pick a band, like pick the guy that has actually had to deal with his home government, like banning him and like Like,
did you hear that? Did you see that clip of him like, don't start another band? We already have enough bands. Like he was going heavy in on the gatekeeping.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, there's always something about like bands, like the extreme metal bands aren't extreme enough for him nowadays.
Yeah.
Which like he is a little bit old man yelling in clouds about some things.
Sure.
But the music he's still putting out is very good.
But think about what he did, man. He embodied the thing that everyone is afraid of and wrote music that could it scared the shit out of people. Them and Dimmu Borgir back when they were coming out.
Yes, I love that band too.
Sort of parallel. But if you think about it, it's like it's shock rock, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's what
in the highest form. It's like this really is like evil shit, and we're gonna scare you. Like that's
because from Behemoth, I found more like the black metal bands, and then I found like Mayhem, and I learned the black metal lore. Of the album cover and the vocalist, unaliving himself.
The record store in town here, it's called And Vinyl. They have that album cover on the wall. You can go see it. Yeah, dude.
I love.
I think it's probably for sale too, but it's probably insanely. It's probably like $10,000 or something.
I wish. Like I am one of those nerds that like I want to go to the record store in Norway where they did all the stuff. Like I love black metal.
Yeah, dude. It would. Yeah. Well, that record store burned down. The original. Did you know about that?
No.
Yeah. Apparently, it burned. It burned down. Or something.
I gotta do my research.
Something happened recently, like within the last year. So you were getting into like more black metal stuff, and
black metal. Really just anything that was as heavy as possible for the time. Once I discovered it, I just wanted it to be as extreme as possible, and I really just kind of settled into like Suicide Silence, Behemoth, from the black metal stuff because it wasn't like super accessible, and all the newer bands had already like the production was way higher. It was like Dimmu Borgir and all those bands. And Cradle of Filth was another one.
Oh yeah, that was big time at my high school growing up.
Yeah, so those bands kind of like shaped me, made me want to start playing guitar. And once I started playing, it was a matter of I really identified with Trivium in guitar playing. And I learned
dude, I didn't know that.
Like almost every Trivium song.
Wow.
And like that was like the band that like made me serious about like wanting to learn music and play music, and that's how I got into like metalcore. But like those
riffs ain't easy, man. That's some fast. That's all fast music.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like it's not blast beat stuff, but the riffs were rewarding to play, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that album, The Ascendancy.
Yeah,
top
man.
A plus S tier.
I gotta be honest. I never got into Trivium, man. I was too much of a prog nerd for a while, man.
Well, they had a bad album. Well, I don't want to call it a bad album. They had a not as great album. The Crusade was like a blip, but then they recovered.
Yeah.
But I could see why. I know a lot of people that aren't into them, and when I say I like Trivium, they're kind of like, well, people are like that towards just metalcore in general. Nowadays, I feel like people are like very down on, but it could be making a comeback actually.
Well, I feel like metalcore now is just it's gone back to being super primitive. But Trivium was like
yes.
Trivium and like Miss May I are like shred metalcore. Like August Burns Red. That's like there's a lot of shredding guitar in that music. But metalcore now is Knocked Loose. That's the band.
Yeah.
Right.
And then like Your Spirit Dies.
Yeah.
That's a band
some really
now.
techie stuff.
Yeah. And then like they're the ones that are like doing metalcore in a way that it's like it's almost circling back to how metalcore started with the mix of hardcore as it should be.
Right.
Like up in like Boston is really what kind of changed it. I think like you had like Shadows Fall, like Killswitch Engage, and those bands coming from like hardcore scenes and turning metalcore into really what it was
Orthodox.
with the second gen.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's the thing of like metalcore means something different nowadays. And like a lot of people still are going to think of 5, 7, 8 riffs, but it's like it's so much sonically different and more accepted. That's why it's like I kind of walk back the point I was making, because like the Asking Alexandria metalcore is like not coming back.
That ain't cool. That ain't
that
Devil Wears Prada, like the early that thing is not coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we could have a crazy like big black hair and skinny jeans revival, man. Who knows, man? That might be a cool thing someday.
Hey, we just had Broken Side last week.
Yeah, dude, how was that, man?
We almost sold out.
Congrats.
Yeah, if we had controlled the guest list a little better, it would have been a sellout. Our first one in less than a year.
Sick, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, the conversation about metalcore that's fascinating. I couldn't believe that Knocked Loose became like the band. Like it really kind of took me by surprise. Not that I don't think highly of that band. I like they're excellent, but I was just like, wow, like that's a really heavy band for like Coachella kids, you know,
I
to go jam out to, you know.
I don't know what it is where it's like that everyone picked that band.
Yeah,
it seems. I don't know if they took the right opportunities at the right time, or if they're just like such good people that when you meet them, you're like, I want to make your dreams come true. I don't know what it is, but everything they touch turns to gold.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that new record, You Won't Go When You're Not Supposed To. What is that?
It's something like that. I can't quite possibly tell you.
I'm a podcast host that doesn't know the names of. But that record's insane, man. The mix, it was a really kind of adventurous approach to mixing that record, just the sound of it, you know, integrating Poppy, you know, into or Courtney LaPlante, whoever you want to, you know, confuse who's on that record.
It's I'm always interested in what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
Because like whatever they're doing now seems like the biggest thing.
It's just going to be a Meshuggah record. That's what they're going to do next.
And that's the thing. Like it could be anything.
It's going to be just Meshuggah riffs, bendy like 8-string.
I hope so.
I would love that, dude. If they wrote.
I honestly would hope so.
It's hard to top Meshuggah. But yeah, your spirit. You mentioned Your Spirit Dies, and I think that band rips, man. They're just unbelievable. Their riffs are so inventive, and I know their drummer Brandon Crumpton. He's been on the show before because Moru came out.
Yeah.
Zan and Brandon came. They were like episode 2, I think. But that music is. I'm like, bro, I can't believe you have to play that like on drums. It's like, how are you doing that?
No, I honestly didn't know he was in the band until like a couple weeks ago. Because like I've known of the band, and like I know they're doing
with them
things
a couple times, but he wasn't an official member. But he's just so good, and he's such a good dude that you wouldn't want, like, he was someone you'd want to be out on the road with because he's just so even keeled and chill to hang with.
Right, because we have Moru on the Human Condition show coming up in July.
Sick.
And like Moru was always a band that was around a lot, and we played with a lot, and I wanted to have bands from the scene back then. So like I was really excited to have them, and like I didn't even really put it together because like so many people in Nashville are in so many different bands now,
right? And
everyone's out there. It's great to see. I love it. And everyone that they all deserve it.
Would you say that we're having a bit of a scene revival in Nashville right now?
I feel it. Yeah, I think it's happening. And I think it's really about connecting all those individual little scenes that we have.
Yeah.
And showing like it's we're all in this together. We all have really a common goal. Like sonically the music's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
But like what we're all like paying that $10 ticket for is to have the same good time. And however you accomplish that is your own volition, and no one should have a problem with how you decide to have a good time, just as long as we can all be in that same room.
Yeah.
And I think like not having it be so genre specific, like we have a really strong hardcore scene, we have a strong indie scene, we have like some deathcore and metalcore bands, but there's not like a strong home for them yet.
Yeah.
And that's probably another reason why I wanted to start booking, was to give, there's a lot of bands looking for opportunities. Right. There wasn't a lot of opportunities coming for anybody. Mm-hmm. And like you can't sit and wait for so long. And so it's just like very underserved. So I wanted to come in and try and create opportunities for bands to play. Because a lot of people want to come out and see bands play too. For as saturated as it may have been 5-6 years ago, there's a lot of opportunity left on the table now. And I think it's good to have more promoters booking shows, more bands. Because like I see bands like booking their own shows now. And it's like Destination. They just recently did that EP release show, and it wasn't through a promoter.
Right.
They just made it happen themselves.
Right.
I love that. Anything for like more shows. It's like rising tides lift all ships.
Yeah. It makes me think of a couple things that, listening to you talk about the scene. Like the first thing is there's multiple scenes within a scene, right? And there isn't a lot of, in my opinion, there isn't a lot of overlap. There might be some, but I'm about to go to a show now after this podcast, and the whole hardcore contingent, no one from that scene will be at this show.
Right.
Even though it's like Abated Massive Flesh, Autumn Lies Buried, it would be a totally different set of people. And then at the Orthodox show, what is that, next week? At Basement East. It's obviously, to compare these two shows is crazy. But that's a totally different scene. And I think what you're talking about is you want to see more people from other scenes, more bands.
Some intersection.
Yeah. Like deathcore, hardcore, death metal, deathcore. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Yeah. We actually have a show coming up in August. I don't want to date the podcast too much, but August 17th, it's Inferius, which is like kind of like a deathcore band.
Yeah.
But I have 2 hardcore bands playing with 2 deathcore bands on the show. Rules of Engagement, Destination, Aim Down Sight, and Dead Kings. So like, I don't know the last time we did like a big crossover show where it's like deathcore and hardcore bands just very unapologetically next to each other.
Yeah. I also think a band like Orthodox, they're able to just basically book. I mean, that's kind of what Adam does. He books shows.
Yeah, he's an agent and does booking.
He's able to like put his show together and just kind of pick who he wants on it, who he thinks is going to pop off, the most. Which, any smart business person would do that. They're not going to be like, let's mix it up on our album release show or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
But I would like to see more, especially bands that make it. Plea for Purging used to just give back to the scene, man. They used to like help out smaller bands. I don't see a lot of that anymore, man.
Well, no,
I hate to say it.
Adam and Orthodox, they do so much for this scene. I'm like so thankful and grateful for the work and attention that everyone with AM, PM, and even like Bad World Booking, Jukebox Booking, they're doing such good work with the hardcore scene. And I mean, they book other genres too. It's not, they're not just in their own bubble.
Maybe I'm just not seeing it.
Like to an extent. I'm not just gonna like go too far and say that, but it's they like I do think that there's bands that could benefit getting in front of those people that just haven't had the opportunities to get in front of those people yet.
Do you think, and now I don't really care anymore. I just say whatever I want, and this is my show. I literally don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But do you think there's some kind? Sorry, man. I'm not putting you on blast, but
I'll be the one to answer this question.
I wonder if there's this like superiority complex with some of these hardcore bands. They think because they play pure hardcore music that deathcore and other mix genre bands aren't as good as them, or they basically say, I don't fuck with that band because they're not a real quote unquote real hardcore band. Do you think that's a thing?
I mean, I've been going to shows since 2006. It's been 19 years.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen
it's a pattern.
Yeah, I've seen every band come and go, live and die. It does happen.
Right.
I don't want it to be so one-sided in thinking that like one scene is the problem, when I think that there's like, whenever you have sides or implied sides, there's always going to be someone that's going to oppose the other side, whether it's granted or warranted or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like deathcore kids that hate on hardcore just for no reason. They think it's like simple, or it's just not their thing, but they want to put it down because they see other people supporting it.
Yeah.
And then like from the hardcore side, there is like a lot of stuff where like metal can be pretty cringe.
Yeah, it's like, okay, dude, we enjoy your ambient one note lead into a breakdown and then the breakdown again at a slower tempo, but we've heard that a million times and it's kind of lame. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that whole like thing.
So like
I can see why a hardcore could be like, that's just freaking lame, dude.
Yeah, so like,
You know, like playing a one note lead.
there's extremism to each side. You know, so like you're gonna have your extremist metalcore kids, your extremist hardcore kids. They're never gonna get along.
And then your neckbeard tech death guys too.
Right. But then like the answer is always somewhere in the middle.
Well, I think the average person that goes to shows, if they were to see like Inferi or something, like the average hardcore kid seeing Inferi live would probably be like, whoa, this is pretty sick.
Yeah.
But there's then going to be people that are just like, I hate this style of metal. This stuff sucks. There's always going to be a few of those. And I think it's reciprocal for each thing. There's stuff that I like to, you know, I love pure death metal. I love slam metal. You know, I love guitar, you know, anything that has really great guitar playing, I'm probably going to be into regardless of the genre.
And even like whether you listen to it outside of that show or not, it's
Right.
like you could see a band that they can, I don't want to say blow you away live, but like you can see something and be like, hey, I respect what you're doing, but I wouldn't, you know, listen to it on my drive into work.
Like I've seen a lot of hardcore bands just murder it live and it's super sick. And then I listen to the recording and it's the worst shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, can we try a little bit harder here?
And that is where I will say that like knowing people and like the community is very important in that, because like you can have bands that where it's like you said, the quality of the recording's not great,
right?
Maybe even the substance of what they're playing. I mean, it's based off punk. It's just people yelling over really fast stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like it depends on what's being said and who's saying it. A whole lot. I mean, in both genres. I don't want to call out any one genre, but like for hardcore, like there's only you can only be so different,
right,
within the genre before you start to be like some other genre. It's not hardcore anymore.
Yeah. Turnstile, they're kind of finding a way to do that with their new music, man.
Yeah, and it's like they're
like alternative rock, but they're like we're also still really heavy.
And like they have a lot of haters, but like the people that are like I don't know, the tastemakers of the scene, the people that like know, if you know, you know, kind of people, respect Turnstile because they know that is a rising tide that's going to lift a lot of ships.
Unbelievable band, dude. They make great music.
So it's like to hate on that is almost a microcosm of the crux of the problem we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, dude, let's talk about your band, man. Human Condition. You guys were around for a few years and then you went away, but now you're back and you got a show coming up, July 12th.
Yes.
Talk to us about the history of the band and then why you guys are back, man.
So around 2020, we played our last show March 1st, 2020, about 2 weeks before everything shut down with Body Snatcher, and we just never had a last show. So everything felt like very unfinished. The End.
Okay, sick. With Body Snatcher. Sick, dude.
We played with them so many times. Kyle, he did a feature on one of our songs. We actually played Body Snatcher's second show ever, or one of like the first 5 shows ever in Melbourne, Florida. And we played with Body Snatcher again at the end in Nashville, and like he told us that, and I was just like, it blew my mind. Like I would have never remembered that. But yes, so 2012 is when I joined the Human Condition. That band was birthed out of another local called Goodbye Apathy. And they played like a lot of the bigger shows around that time. They changed the name. Me and Cody Stewart joined the band. And yeah, that that was after As Hell Retreats. I took about a year break after As Hell Retreats just to try and find the right project. I wanted to kind of get into something that was already going, because I didn't want to like completely start over from scratch.
Yeah.
So joining the Human Condition, I mean, it was just like a perfect time to join something that was already playing shows and try and just take that to the next level. So from like 2012 to 2020, we grew from just being a local to having a van, playing regional shows, trying to tour. But really the pandemic took its toll, kind of stopped everything.
Yeah, that was pretty wild that happened. I mean, I think we'll always look back at that point in time, and especially for musicians, you know, and living in Nashville and seeing the ghost town down there. Which is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, man.
Honestly, the Human Condition probably wouldn't have lasted too much longer even if the pandemic hadn't happened. And we could just play shows normally from 2020. We were probably going to break up just because at that time, we were just creatively wanting to do different things. But we had that 5-year break to really just grow as people, get the things figured out that we had to figure out amongst ourselves, just personally, not with each other. And it was the right time to come back and be like, we should play a show. There wasn't and hasn't really been any talks of what happens after the show on July 12th at the end. That's the only thing we have on the books. After that is up in the air.
Yeah.
But the Human Condition is likely not going away.
Sick, dude. Now, are you guys going to be playing new songs, or are you playing the old material?
There won't be any new songs.
Okay.
No new songs for on the 12th. Yeah, we've got 10 songs. Where we'll eventually put up what songs we're playing. So if there's anything we're not playing for this set, if people make it known, maybe there'll be another one where we can throw those songs on there.
I think that's awesome, man. I'm stoked that you're playing again, man. To be honest, man, I never got to see Human Condition back in the day. That I'm aware of, man. Like I
don't think so either.
I did the metal thing, and then really I don't know if it was like I was burned out on metal, but I kind of like wasn't involved in the scene for a long time. I did kind of a post-rock project, and
was that the Mirror band?
Mirror, yeah.
I just looked over off camera and saw that on the wall. Yeah, and I was like, holy hell, I forgot that was a thing.
It was like just instrumental, like ambient guitar stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of got away from the metal thing, but you know, I of course, like heavy guitar is so important to me, so it can't.
You can't stay away for long, and it's the same thing with us. Like I couldn't stay away from the scene for too long. Like the moment that I could afford, have the time, the sense to be able to come out and be a part of this, I'm here and I'm not leaving.
Now, do you still have all your old guitar gear and stuff like that, and stuff from the band?
I have my guitar. All the gear was always at Ian's. I know nothing about gear.
Nut, bro. That guy. I always used to geek out with him at shows, man, and he always had the sickest rig, dude.
I know nothing about it.
That guy.
I got to be completely honest. He just shows up with everything. They tell me where to plug it in at.
He's a digital daddy, from what I remember.
Yes.
So but he uses cabs though, so he's driving his cabs with like a power amp or something like that. I was always impressed that he was doing that and getting such great sounds for the genre.
I think it's a 4-cable method, but that's literally just words to me. I couldn't tell you what that user does.
But yeah, I love it, man. Well, dude, I'm stoked for the July 12th show. That's gonna be sick. I'm excited that you're playing again, man. And you owe it to yourself, I feel like, to do it, man. And you know, you're booking all these great shows. You might as well play one. You know?
Well, yeah, that's the thing of like knowing the time to if there's ever a show where it's like, oh, maybe it's our time. Maybe we fit this one. So like you never know when it's gonna come, but there'll be more Human Condition shows for sure past July 12th. But yeah, we're here to stay. Shuttle City Booking's here to stay. So yeah, for sure. You'll see us.
Heck yeah, man. Well, let us know what's coming up with Shuttle City. Like what shows do we have coming up this summer?
So right now, June 26th, Arcane Workshop. We have Great Minds.
Sick, dude. I remember that band.
Yes. Yeah, a band called Drosera.
Is Darius still in that band?
Yeah, Darius is still the band. That's the only band. Yeah, I haven't seen them in so long. That's another band we used to play with a long time back in the day. So like really being able to book shows, I wouldn't have been able to start anywhere near what we've done without having the Human Condition and learning everything I did. Even with As Hell Retreats, I've been able to take everything there and apply it to be able to have all these shows to do with Shuttle City Booking. But 626, Great Minds, Drosera, and 3 other local hardcore bands.
Sick.
Then we have 7-5 at the Cobra for a slam show. Truck Stop Dick Pill.
Oh, sick, dude. Oh my gosh. I'm stoked you got those guys coming to town. I might have to show up for that.
That show is going to be wild. Absolutely wild.
I'm gonna bring my private security to that show.
Yo,
I said I would never go back to the Cobra again, but Slam calling me back.
Yeah, that's going to be. Can we have a couple punk bands on it too, and then Gouged Out, another like local like death metal-ish band.
Yeah, I heard that band's sick.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Then 7/12 Human Condition show, Autumn Lies Buried, Moru, Hollow God, Kaiju, East of Eden, real stacked.
Where's that going on at?
That's going to be at the end.
At the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then finally, the only other show we have announced right now, August 17th, also at the end, Infurious, Rules of Engagement, Destination, Aim Down Sight, Dead Kings, big crossover show. It's going to be irresponsibly heavy. I don't know what's going to happen. But then later in the fall, we'll have lots in October.
Sick.
Lots in October.
So, yeah, you just told me a couple of the bands, but I won't say them on the show. But just follow Shuttle City Booking, and you'll be the first to know from there, from your socials. So how can people follow you, man, on social media?
Instagram, just my name, Koty Bluhm, Shuttle City Booking,
Koty Bluhm.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna spell it. It's insanely difficult. But yeah, Koty Bluhm, Shuttle City Booking. Yeah, I'll be updating y'all for the fall and summer.
Sick, dude. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Thanks for having me. No, this is great. I would love to do this again. I think what you're doing here is so important.
Thank you, bro.
I was telling you before we started, I just want everyone to know that this is such a good show, and I want you to keep doing this.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I don't plan on stopping, but we need the views to go up. If you aren't liking the video and you watch it, like, you're basically saying like, fuck you, Shred Riffs, you suck. So like the show, drop a comment. If you even watch 5 minutes of this video, like, please drop a comment, because any type of engagement, it helps. So
like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe. Do all of that stuff. It really helps. Share on Reddit in your metal forums.
Oh yes, I want to hear all the Reddit discussion about hardcore versus deathcore. That's what I'm.
That would be shit. Drop. Yeah, I'll have to clip that discussion out, and you can drop that in there. So seriously though, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This is Shred Sessions. It's a Nashville-based metal podcast. You probably already know that by now, but there you go. That's Koty Bluhm from The Human Condition. Peace.
See you.